What's good, y'all? It's your boy Jerry, back with another episode of Jerry's 2 Cents. And for today's episode, I'm going to be combining both aspects of the channel, both the fashion and the business side, to talk about what it takes to start a clothing brand and some of the things that go into starting a brand. And to join me, I have my good friend here, Davontay Ivery. Davontay is the founder of Boy Blondey, a menswear brand inspired by 70s fashion and culture. Davontay, how you doing, my brother?
How you doing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You know, peace and love, peace and love. And yeah, we're just gonna get into a conversation about Davontay's brand. You know, how he got started and some of the things that he wish he knew. How you living? How's everything?
Everything is going well, man. Like, I'm just excited to see like what we have in store. We definitely coming harder next year.
And where are you at mentally right now?
You know, honestly, I'm in a place of growth. Like, I really feel like this year I've grown a lot. I've grown as a person and also as a designer. And like now it's like, you see it more in my work. I feel like my ideas are becoming more concise.
Okay.
More thought out.
How do you feel like that growth has progressed over time?
Honestly, it's kind of like just like keep on working at it. Like doing this thing, like you have to every day. Like every day you have to like work on getting better and like pushing out your ideas and like developing ideas. You just gotta be consistent.
I gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers in this racket.
Consistency is key.
Dope. I mean, but now, yeah, just talking on the whole brand thing, I do love fashion. I definitely want to or aspire to, maybe one day have a brand, but just seeing like all the things that go into, I don't know if that's something I would want to do alone, basically. Like I just want to design clothes, basically.
I would definitely say in the beginning it's hard, especially if you don't have like a team to do everything yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely say like in the beginning, it's good to like have a few people around you to help you like ease the workload off of you. Cause like if you're designing everything, if you're shooting everything, it does take a toll on you. Like it does. Like and it takes away from your creativity, like the business side. So like it's good to kind of like separate the both of it.
For sure. So would you say that was like something you wish you had known starting out?
Oh yeah, because like it got to a point where I became kind of burnt out of like I was just wearing too many hats. I was doing the social media, the marketing, the customer service, shipping out the orders, designing everything, hitting up manufacturers. And that's a lot to do for like one person. So like now that we're growing, I'm starting to like add more people to the team to delegate that I shouldn't be doing anymore. Right now, I just want to really focus on creating the clothes and like making sure like the message of the brand is being like emphasized in everything that we do.
For sure. I mean, but now you just mentioned a lot. You said social media, manufacturing, brand, like that. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of money that goes into that. Talk to me a little bit about that. Like,
I would say starting off, I feel like a good starting. It depends actually what you're trying to make. Okay. So like there's a couple ways you could go about like starting a brand. In the beginning, you could do you could just buy blanks and like screen print your designs on the blanks and just like do that.
Okay.
Or you could do like, let's say you want to like get a piece made. You could do like a pre-order system where like you make like a sample of a piece, you shoot it, you market it online and get pre-orders, and then like when you get the money for the pre-orders, you go and make everything with the manufacturers.
Got it.
So, or you could just like use your own money. Like let's say you want to drop one piece. I would say a good place to start is like $2,000.
So
to get off the ground.
$2,000 to get off the ground.
Yeah.
Okay. So out of those 3 options you mentioned, what did you start off with?
So I started off with like using my own money because like I had a lot of money saved over and that I wasn't using. So I just thought like, why not have the money to let's just see like what would happen if I just made something. And that's where I kind of up because I feel like starting a brand, you should really like. There's a lot of things you should do before you start a brand. Like
what?
Number one thing is brand identity. And I think that's the number one thing. Like you gotta know like to make your brand stand out, you gotta like know what's the message you're trying to convey. Like why, like what makes your clothes different from everybody else's clothes. Like, okay. So I would say brand identity is very important.
And for Boy Blondey, what do you think? Where do you think that lies?
So our brand identity, we just honestly, like, I want to recreate like vintage silhouette, but like through a modern lens. Cause like I really love the 70s, just 70s culture in general, just the music, the clothes, just that whole time period. Like it was just very peace and love, and that's just like my vibe. So like I just want to like embody that within the brand.
For sure. So I mean, you know, you've been at it for a while now. You've Boy Blondey's been out for about 2-3 years now, right? You know, you've seen some growth with the business. So in terms of finances, how much are you investing back into the business?
Literally everything,
Okay.
all of it. Cause like, I mean, if you want your business to grow, like that's what you should do. Like every penny you make from the brand, you should put it back in the brand to like just make it better, keep on elevating, and like keep on making even more grandiose pieces. Like honestly, like you should always try to top what you did before.
Okay.
It's all about elevating.
You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or
Still to be happy about.
you're up 2-0?
Job's not finished. Job finished.
I mean, what if you ain't got no money though? Like you trying to make ends meet.
Man, then you gotta do what you gotta do, man. You
Okay.
gotta get another job, you feel me? You gotta pivot, do something else. Like, just figure it out, bro. Like, but no matter what, just don't stop. Like, don't stop creating. Because if you stop, that could just kill your whole momentum. Like, I've definitely, like, faced that a lot. Like, I'm picking up traction, and then, like, I'll go away for, like, a good 2-3 months. And I have to build that momentum up again. So, like, I would just say, like, have everything planned out. Like, that's the number one thing. Like, plan everything. Like, plan ahead. Just plan everything out.
Okay. I mean, but like going off that, you were saying to continually invest. Is that always the case, even if like you really blow up? Like, at what point do you think like, you know, maybe you start taking a little bit for yourself? Like,
I mean, in the beginning, I would say like only pay yourself like 20%.
Okay.
Because honestly, in the beginning, you really shouldn't be trying to make money. You should just be trying to like establish the brand. So like you shouldn't really mind taking a loss, because it's like I'm all likelihood that's gonna happen your first go around until you start figuring out the people you're trying to reach and like growing your customer base. So like in the beginning, I wouldn't say like don't mind taking a loss. It's okay to take a loss, because like you're gonna learn from it. You're gonna gather information from that loss. So it's not really a loss. It's a lesson.
Okay. I hear you, Hov. Yes, sir. 444. But no, I mean, definitely very insightful. Who would you say were like your inspiration when it came to your brand and just formulating it?
Well, I feel like in the beginning, my brand is kind of just like a copy of like ALD, because that's been like
ALD, A Million Door.
Yeah, Million Door. That's been my favorite brand since 2014.
Okay.
Since literally the beginning of the brand, I've been copying pieces for years. So when I first initially started like making clothes, it was kind of like a knock of their clothes.
Okay.
So like I had to like find my design language.
Gotcha.
As my style like developed and I grew older, I started to really find like pieces the shit that I really want to make.
Okay.
So I kind of like got out of their shadows and started doing my own thing. I stopped trying to copy them so much.
But in terms of just starting out, you know, did you feel like that was necessary, or you could have just came with it like, I new stuff?
See, I feel like I started a bit too early. I feel like I still should have took a couple years to like really figure out what type of garments I want to make, because I feel like that's so important, especially like coming out. When you come out, you have to be unique. You gotta like come up with your own unique selling point. Like if you try to be another brand, you can't beat that brand on what they're doing, because why would somebody like fuck with your brand when you could just fuck with the biggest version of what you're trying to do?
So talk to me. Is Boy Blondey manufactured in America, in China?
So it varies from piece to piece.
Okay.
So like any cut and sew piece right now, I'm getting it made overseas. But like in the past, I've definitely had some work done in like America.
Okay.
Like even in Brooklyn now, like also.
Dope. How do you decide between the two?
Honestly, like I just do it like the way I found my manufacturers personally is kind of like my friends used them and they told me like they were good. So then I was like, all right, I'll try them out. And I made a sample with them, and then I got it back, and I was satisfied with like the quality of everything.
Okay.
So I would definitely just say like test different manufacturers, like make samples with them, see the type of things they can make, like there's some things that they can't make, test the limitations.
And how specific do you need to get with them in terms of
You have to be as specific as possible. Like you have to be as like very, very detailed. Cause like if you're not, they're not gonna give you exactly what you want.
Squeeze my tiny ass up in this. Upstage these bitches up in here. You like this girl?
What you want, and you always want to get exact. You want to get it to the closest to how it is in your head and like the tangible form. So I would say be as detailed as possible.
So like, what are some things like you've missed? Like when you first started out ordering through manufacturers, like you f***ed up at.
A couple things, man. I remember when I first started art, I tried to like make a Revere college shirt.
Okay.
So it was my first time making anything. So like, it was just a whole learning process, just learning like what it takes to make a garment. So then starting off, I had to find a manufacturer. But at the time, I wasn't comfortable like using anybody overseas.
Yeah.
So I was trying to find somebody domestically. And that was a challenge because like, it's hard to get things made in America if you don't have a lot of capital. If you don't have the money, then it's like, in the beginning, it's gonna be impossible for you, or it's gonna be very expensive. So if you don't have the funds, I would recommend going overseas. But for me, I wanted for my first like piece to make, like to get made, I wanted it to be in America. So I found a place in Brooklyn. I found them on Maker's Row. For me, anybody like, you need a manufacturer like locally, go on Maker's Row. You can find one.
Maker's Row.
Yeah, makersrow.com.
No ad though.
So then I went on Maker's Row. I found a manufacturer in Brooklyn. I went to them and they kind of like, just really worked with me. They like, it was no minimums. They kind of like walked me through the process, like what they needed from me to like continue the project. And then just from that, I learned like the whole process of making clothes. So like we started off, I told them what I wanted to make. They told me like I needed a pattern and I needed to make a sample. So then I was like, all right, how do I go about that? So it was like, if you have, like let's say if you have a shirt that you love the way it fit, you could take it to a pattern maker and they can make a pattern out of it. And then once you have the pattern, like literally you could take that pattern to any manufacturer and they can make that piece for you.
Yeah.
So then once I got the pattern, they make the sample. And then once I got the sample, I was like, wow, I could really do this. It's like history. It's like, couldn't stop. I had to keep going.
Good job, my brother. We rocking with you.
Got you. That's dope. All right, so the last thing I want to ask you is, what type of person do you think should not start a clothing brand?
Honestly, if you're not passionate about this shit, you shouldn't do it because like, it's just not gonna work out for you, man. And to be honest, like, you gotta really love the process of creating to really do this shit. If you don't, then like, it's just not gonna work out for you, man. Because like, there's been many times where this shit gotten like really, really, really hard and I got really, really discouraged. But like, what kept me going was my passion and my love of this shit and my love of just creating. So that's the number one thing. Like, make that be the source of your engine, your passion.
For sure. All right, well, appreciate you, brother, man. You know, let's you know the vibes.
Always. Real Brooklyn shit. Shout out to the Floors.
You know, as for Flossy, and yeah.
Ain't no hiding. Flossy, baby, that's why I be.
Flossy, and yeah, that's a wrap. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was insightful for you all. And yeah, I hope to see all of y'all clothing brands. Mine's coming soon. Chill. And yeah, let's get it.
Bernard.